Well, in case you're wondering, I am still here. It's been a minute since I made any videos. I've got some other stuff that I'm working on car related for the owner. So, you know, it's the way it goes sometimes. Wife is extremely pregnant, so have no time to do anything really much with cars these days. That's okay. I have tinkered kind of on the side a bit here and there, just trying to figure out what is going on with this car. Unfortunately, I don't have any answers. Sometimes things just don't work out. Surprisingly, and then kind of not surprisingly, I took the Edelbrock water pump that was originally on the other motor off, because remember I took this basically short block, well, it was a long block fully built motor, broke it down to a short block and then put all my parts into it because I wanted to see how those parts from that other engine were actually going to perform on a good short block. Something with good pistons, good rings, the correct piston size for bore, that kind of stuff. Honestly, I was a little surprised. I'm still kind of battling a little bit of overheating with it. It still gets hot. On the forums, reading, doing a lot of research, you know, FEs, they just kind of run hot. Obviously, you don't want them overheating. I've had this car out a couple times now, and it runs about 210, 215, which is hot. It's got straight water in it. I could possibly cool it down a bit with some water wetter. I'm just not going to put coolant in it. I don't want to deal with leaking coolant, overheating, coolant blowing everywhere. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to. This motor's not going to stay in this car. This is more of a, let's just have some fun. You know, let's see what those parts that were on that other motor will actually do. Surprisingly, it's just, I don't know if it's a bad combination, or maybe just FEs just don't make power. I don't know, which makes me a little concerned for the motor that I am building for this car. But first things first, let's get into this. So if you remember back when I built this, I had a fully built 428 that I could have just slapped into it. Ended up being a Cobra Jet 428. I know I never put the picture up. Basically, I took a picture of the back of the engine where it's got a C on it, which designates that it's a Cobra Jet. That is on this engine. I took the heads off, took the manifold off, took all that kind of stuff off, took the cam out of it, and put my stuff in it from the other engine, because I wanted to see how those parts were going to perform, and they just, I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. It performs like the other engine, if that makes any kind of sense. And we'll take this thing out and drive it. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a kind of a go through of what's going on with it. I did take the Edelbrock water pump back off of it and put a brand new, just stock water pump on it. It did seem to make a bit of difference as far as cooling goes. The other thing, talking to a lot of people and that kind of stuff, I really think that the initial overheating with this was due to just a really tight new engine, an engine that already has cooling issues, staying cold. And then since it's broke in a bit, I have driven it a little bit. It's gotten better and better, and every time I drive it, it gets better and better. Now it doesn't actually bark any coolant out of it. It seems to stay pretty cool. However, it has developed either exhaust tick or a lifter tick, one of the two. I do have an oil pressure gauge that I was putting into it. I got the sending unit in, I just don't have the gauge in it. I know this thing's making oil pressure, otherwise it wouldn't be in existence anymore. But I struggled with a few things. One of the things I struggled with was the timing. On the other engine, I felt like the harmonic balancer wasn't telling me what it really was. Then when I was degreeing the camshaft, I kind of verified that, yeah, the harmonic balancer was pointing in the right direction and it was saying the right stuff. However, then when I timed it with this new Holley Sniper EFI and the Sniper Hyperspark, which is just a Hall effect distributor that you set with a plastic cap, right? You set it in there and then you slip this plastic cap on there, which basically locks it in and puts it exactly where it needs to go. And then you tell the computer, on 0, of course, then you tell the computer what timing you want and then it gives it that timing. I thought I had set it right. In the madness of getting this thing running, maybe there's a white mark on the balancer. Maybe I mistakenly thought that was 0, I don't know. But just the other day when I was playing around with it, you can go into the Sniper EFI and you can tell it what static timing you want, so you can come out and actually put a timing light on it and check it. Static just means that it's going to hold one timing. It's not going to move around. The computer's not going to move it around based on how the engine's running. So I set it to a static at 10 degrees, put a light on it, and it was on 21. Which is way too much. Twisted it back, put it right on 10 as far as the harmonic balancer goes, and it ran good. Temperature came down, of course. One of the things that led me to that direction is that one of the times I was playing with it right here in the parking lot, I went to get into the throttle and it actually popped back in the fuel injection, which is extremely strange for fuel injection, especially something with electronic ignition like this. That's what led me down that rabbit hole. Found it, set it, but now it's back to this thing where when you jump on the throttle, it makes a whole lot of noise and goes nowhere. It's about, the way I was explaining it to most people is that from 30 to 40 miles an hour, you can count 1/1000, so about a second from 30 to 40, so 10 miles an hour, which is pretty doggy. It should climb, especially being a 428, a big block, you know. I mean, you hear all this stuff, oh, 428, super Cobra Jet, all this kind of stuff. It's honestly, I haven't been impressed at all with these FEs. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Then I kind of came down to maybe it's just the wrong combination. You know, building motors isn't just about buying parts online and installing them correctly into the engine. It's about combinations. It's about complementing each part with cam grinds and low separation and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's got the camshaft is not right for this setup. Honestly, I don't know. I'm just not very impressed with it. It does run, it drives, it sounds great, it sounds phenomenal, but it doesn't go anywhere. So it's a little depressing, which leads me into the motor that I'm actually building for the car. The block is still out at the machine shop. I won't get it back until I get the pistons, which I had to order. They'll be in about the middle of the month. This is the motor that's in this right now. I actually purchased from the guy who loaned it to me. This motor is going to go into my yellow 7-liter. That's going to go for that more of your standard build car where it's, you know, I'm trying to go all stock with it. With that car, at least, because it's extremely rare, I want to try and do a restoration on it. It's not going to be a concourse restoration with all the right stickers, and, you know, I'll try as hard as I can, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure it's got the, you know, the correct heater hose and upper radiator hose and, you know, this and that on it. I'll do the best I can, but I'm not going to get nerdy with it. I'm just going to make it a really clean restoration car, mainly because of the condition that it's in. You know, it's pretty rough. Well, it's very rough. The roughest car I've ever taken on, in fact. But this motor is going to go into that car. So really, I've kind of decided to just stop playing with this thing because at this point it doesn't really matter. That next motor that's going into it is going to be a stroker motor. I think I've told you guys that before. I did all the math on it and it comes out to a 466 Stroker, right now I have the crank connecting rods. I am going to go full roller on the timing, on the cam and upper, lower, everything full roller basically on this thing. So because that next motor, because of how it's set up, I really feel like that full roller setup is going to complement it. That, and I keep hearing things from different people, Freiburger, that kind of stuff, that the flat tappet cams these days are just not the quality that they used to be, and they're having problems with them going flat. Well, I don't want to get into that at all. Plus this new motor with stroker setup and all these modern kind of performance parts, I think it'd be a good it'd complement it real well. So that's what I'm going to do. Which means I have to change cylinder heads, which means I have to change, obviously, the camshaft, that kind of stuff, which I did get the Edelbrock camshaft that goes along with this whole cylinder head and intake manifold setup. Who knows, maybe I'll use it on something else, I don't know. But the heads have got to get changed. The camshaft, of course, is going to get changed. And then the rocker assembly on top, I'm just going to put a new roller rocker arms on it. So the whole thing will be new. In fact, so new that every part going on that next motor hasn't been on a motor before. The only part that I'm reusing on that next motor is the engine block itself. That's it. I'm not using anything else. Everything else is brand new out of the box. So I'm going to try and avoid issues like maybe a bad cylinder head causing me problems with overheating, or, you know, anything like that. I don't want to drag any of the sickness that was from that other motor into this new hopped up stroker motor that I'm going to build for this thing. Now, if that hopped up stroker motor doesn't make power and it runs like a dog, I'm going to feel really bad for one, because I've done a lot of research, tried to figure out the best thing I can for this car, the best motor I can build for this car, and if it runs really bad, it's going to make me look pretty bad in front of the owner. But you know, nobody's perfect, I guess. You know, what are you going to do? So at that point, I don't know, maybe we'll put a Coyote in this thing. I don't know. You know, he's already told me, I'm done with it, I want to put an LS in it. Well, you know, it still is a rare classic car. That's very unique, so I really wouldn't want to do that. But I mean, hey, it's not my car, so if he wants to put a Coyote or an LS or even a 460 in it, you know, we could do that. But I don't know. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm getting a little worried that all this stuff that I'm putting into this, you know, it's got a forged scat crank, it's got forged Eagle connecting rods, forged diamond pistons. You know, the whole thing is going to be just pretty, the best build I can actually do to it. I have not picked a camshaft yet. That's one thing I do have to do. I need to sit down and figure out what cam to actually run in it based on all these parts, based on what I want to do with the car. What's the good cam that's going to complement this build? Initially, I had it at 11.5 to 1 compression. The owner didn't like it. He wanted to knock it down, so I took it down to 10 to 1 compression. That was the best I could do without going to $1,000 per piston made by Keith Black. So that's where we're at with this thing. So enough of me talking. I know I talk a lot. Let me go put together a GoPro. I'm just going to handheld it. And I don't know, let's cruise this thing around the block, and I'll show you kind of about the car and, you know, how slow it is, I guess. Sorry for the noise. I got the door open because I was going to pull this thing out. And the main boulevard's right there, so just cars and trucks run by all day. But I don't know, my microphone's pretty good. Maybe it'll drown out some of that. But anyways, guys, let me go grab a GoPro, and then let's take this thing out for a little cruise, and then that's going to be it for today. I've got to get over and get some other stuff done. It's going to be, I don't know, these videos coming out for the 5 of you that actually watch my videos. They'll be kind of few and far between, at least now, until at least after the twins show up. And then a couple months after that, I plan to spend a couple months at home, helping my wife take care of them as they show up. And then I'll be back building stuff. We do have the El Camino It's already on the lift. I have pushed the Camaro. It's going to go way back into the corner because that is going to get a 4L80E and that independent rear suspension from Art Morrison. The owner says there's no sense in even, getting the motor running because he's not going to drive the car until it's the way he wants it, which is automatic transmission. 4L80E seems like the right transmission to go with. And then the Art Morrison independent rear suspension. I still don't even have a hoist that actually works. It's there, it's bolted down, not wired. So I have a lot of stuff to do. As you can see, the shop is still a mess. That's next on my to-do list as far as the shop goes. I am gonna spend however long it takes to get this place organized, cleaned, and where I can find stuff again. That's the biggest thing I'm finding right now, is I can't find anything. So videos, I don't know. Enjoy them when they come if you can for the 5 people watching. And then, I don't know, I'll be back as soon as I can, I guess. But for now, let me go grab a GoPro. We'll cruise around the block, see how this thing runs. All right, guys, give me a minute. Well, here we are. Driving the 7-liter. It's pretty hot today, so I hope this thing doesn't get too hot. It's already up to 130. We'll see how it goes, though. Just gonna put it along, not really do too much with it right now. Motor's technically still breaking in. Transmission vacuum modulator needs to be adjusted, but there you go. We're up to 149 on the gauge, 152. 54, 55, temperature's going up. 161, the 161, there it goes, now it's 165, so the fans should be on now. I got them set pretty low. But this thing doesn't like to shift. I gotta adjust that. There we go. The exhaust in this thing is annoying. It's got a Flowmaster 2-chamber in it with no glass backs, no resonators. So it's kind of annoying to drive because it is so loud, but it does run. This is it. So in case you guys aren't aware of what the Galaxie is, it's what the 7-liter is. So in 1966, Ford wanted to introduce the 428 to the masses. So they picked a platform car. So they picked the Galaxie. And they made a 1-year car, and that's this, the Galaxie 7-liter. And they introduced the 428. They introduced the 428 in this year to show people the new 428. That's why it's a 1-year car. The 428 was available in the Galaxie after 66. However, it wasn't the 7-liter. It was still a 7-liter, but it wasn't the 7-liter. So that's kind of what makes this car unique. This particular model is not very unique. It's your run-of-the-mill 7-liter, hard top, automatic, power steering, power brakes, air conditioning. There's not much about this car that really makes it a very special car, other than the fact that it is a 7-liter. I think right now there's somewhere around 3,000 of this configuration still in existence. So I mean, that kind of makes it neat. It's definitely historical and unique in its own way. Now my yellow 7-liter, that car is extremely unique because in the convertible 4-speed cars, they only made 428 of them, which I thought was pretty cool because of the 428 engine. And there's only 127 of those cars still in existence. And if you've seen that car, you'll know it's extremely rough. It's beat on every end. It has no floorboards in it. It is the worst project car I have ever taken on. And it's only because of that, because it's an extremely rare version. There we go, sorry. Extremely rare version of the 7-liter. So that's why I took that car on as a project, because it was in a scrap metal yard. It was basically going to be scrap metal unless somebody got a hold of it. I couldn't allow that to happen, so I took it. My plan with it is to basically get it running and driving. I'm going to leave the body exactly the way it is. I'm going to do the interior, do the top, and do the running and driving, and then just kind of enjoy the car for a bit, looking all shabby and beat down the way it is, and then that's it really. So as far as this car goes and driving it, I can't really do anything with it. It's already up to 200 degrees right now. I am still pretty close to the shop, so I mean, you could take a look. I don't know if you can see that or not on the sniper gauge there. Now it just reached 200. You can see the AFR is still running a little bit rich, but you know, I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of done playing with this thing. When you do get on it, it really doesn't have any go power. Really kind of disappointed with it. But like I said, it could be a combination of cam heads. Could be a combination of anything, really. So, but doesn't run horrible. It just really doesn't, I don't know, just doesn't have the go power it should. That was down on the throttle pretty good. I was probably 90% throttle on that one. And then, of course, had to manually shift it. But runs okay. It's just really not anything worth writing home about, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm going to do one little kind of tour around the block again. Sorry if the camera angle's a little bit off, you know, trying to do all this stuff. It's up to 207 right now. I'm really kind of interested to see what the temperature actually gets to, especially with me kind of getting into the throttle. This is probably the second time that I've actually got into the throttle on this thing. And generally, the last time I got into the throttle, it really got hot. So I'm gonna do one little quick run around the block. You can see it's up to 209 now. I'll do the next time I do a pull with it, I'll have you guys pointed at the speedo so you can kind of see what the, you know, how it climbs in speed. I know it's hard to see kind of when you're on the camera what this thing does. It's up to 210. You know, I was really, when I was doing some research on these things getting hot, there was a lot of guys that were saying, oh, mine runs 210 all day, you know. I have seen this thing up to 215. It's at 211 now. There we go. You gotta manually tell it to go, otherwise it'll just drag that gear out. I don't want to do that. So it's up to 210. It was at 211. It came back down. That's kind of about what it's been doing. it'll get up there and then come back down, which is, you know, it's what a thermostat should be doing, but it's really hot. You know, it's, I mean, technically, I think it's what, 212 is boiling water, you know? You know, I don't know how accurate the gauge is in this thing. It's just a temperature sensor in the intake manifold right behind the thermostat. So there we go. So I'll get down here. Oh, it dropped down to 209. See, it's actually cooling itself. If I had to guess, it's probably low 70s maybe right now. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. Let me get down over here. See, now it's back up to 211. Now 210. Sorry, I ate a bug or something. Flying through the window. 211 again. Never know exactly what to do with this one. It's got like a little turnout. That little turnout right there. I always take that little turnout, but there's always cops down that way. Oh, no cop today. Oh, now we're up to 213. Some light flashing, I don't know what it is. 214. 215. I mean, technically 215's, you know, pretty hot, but it's not like, you know, meltdown hot. But on a day when it's 70 degrees outside, you know, I mean, we should be somewhere cooler than that. All right, 217 now. 216. Okay, let's point you guys over here, and we're gonna do a little pull with it. I mean, it's not bad. Hopefully you could see that. I don't know. I was jiggling and stuff. I short shifted it. Oh, now 220, 221. The gauge has turned yellow. Because that last pull was probably a little bit, maybe too much for it. But let's see if it comes down. I'm gonna pull it back into the parking lot. Let's see if this thing will cool down a bit. 222. Definitely doesn't like getting hot, or does like getting hot, I should say. I don't like it getting hot. Let's see. 220 is staying steady at 222, which is hot. I know. I realize, but it's not still meltdown hot. So let's sit here for a minute and see what it does. Let me put it in park. AFR is still, you want about 14.5 on your air fuel. That's stoichiometric. I got nothing on my idle air motor. So I wonder if I have a vacuum leak, because I have it set to 650 and it's struggling. It's staying up about 700. Huh. 221. So it is actually coming down. Let me, I know this is getting kind of long, so let me I'm gonna idle this for a bit and I'll get back with you guys and show you what happens here. All right, I'll be back with you. All right, well, I'm back. I got the hood up just to kind of help it a bit, but temperature is coming down. I don't know if you can read that there. It says 217 and it's steadily coming back down. So, I mean, you know, that's a good sign. I'm actually considering, because it's about 12:30 right now, taking this thing over and getting some lunch and see what happens. Wouldn't be a bad idea. It definitely needs miles on it. So I think I'm gonna do that. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it, I think, for this episode. Short and sweet. Just wanted to let you know what was going on with the 7-liter. This is what it looks like. You can hear it making noise over here. It sounds like a little bit of valve train, maybe a little bit of an exhaust leak. It has got a little bit of blow by. But I got no PCV on it. So, I don't know. Don't know. Did what we could in the beginning to try and break it in right, but it was hard because it was overheating a lot. So, it is what it is. I'll keep putting miles on it. Hopefully those rings will seat a little bit better. Because again, I do want to use this engine in my yellow car. But yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. I just kind of wanted to give you an update. I know we did that whole thrash and build on this thing, and I kind of left you guys in the dark for the rest of it. But like I said, we've got a lot of stuff going on right now. But thank you so much for watching. And I don't know when the next video is going to be out, but we'll probably be working on the 64 El Camino. That's not going to take much. We got some front suspension to put on it. Got to put the whole front end back together, of course, because I love taking front ends off cars. And what else? What else? Suspension, brakes, steering, front end, fuel injection. There's that. That's going to take a bit. I'm not going to geek out on the wiring on that one, so you don't have to worry about that. We're just going to do a basic install and set everything up. You're going to see wires on it. That's just the way it's going to go. I'm not going to pull a 3-year build Camaro style on that one, so just not going to happen. I'm just going to put that car together, and we're going to go out and enjoy it. So that's going to be probably the next bit of videos that we start watching. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time.